Hello! In today's video, you guys know that I've got a pretty decent knife collection, mostly of Moras, so I'm going to show you how to turn something like this into something more like this. My name's Dean, and welcome to the Alberta Bushcrafter channel. It's a little late in the evening here, last day of July 2015, but what I'm going to do here is decided I'd shoot a video. I've been promising to do this for several months, is to show people how to put an alternate coating, a patina, on a carbon steel blade. It will not work on stainless. Now, the reason I do this, and I'm using chemicals here, is because I actually don't have ready access to black walnuts as, you know, Dave Canterbury does. So you stick with what you know. And what I know is gun bluing. This is just simple birchwood Casey super blue. It's a great little compound. I'm going to shake it up a bit because the salts and stuff do settle. So yeah, our first contestant on this, our first experiment, our first guinea pig, is this beautiful Mora 735. It's a big blade and it's brand new, never been touched, but I bought this for that purpose. I bought this strictly for the purpose of checking it out, see if I could blue the blade. And it shouldn't be a problem. You've seen me do this with my East Wing axe as well, my little hatchet, but I never showed the process. I've actually got a couple of others too. I now have two Mora Companion HD MG knives, mostly because if I wreck the old one, I've got a brand new one. Or, hey, if I really like, we might blue the blades on both, and who knows what I'll do with the second one. I don't know, maybe another giveaway? I have no idea. So, without further ado, let's take a look at what we need. Alright, so right out of the box, that's what this knife is here. So what we'll do, I'll show you what you need. You'll need, obviously, a knife. You will not necessarily need the sheath. You'll need mineral spirits, especially if it's right out of the box, and a rag. You will need steel wool. Obviously, you will need gun bluing. Like I said, this is birchwood Casey super blue. And you also need some kind of gun oil. That's what the bluing suggests. So you start out step one. In fact, I'm going to use this for a second. Wow. That knife is very sharp, right out of the factory. I'm impressed always by the sharpness of Moras out of the factory. So get yourself a bit of mineral spirits, because you never know what kind of coating is on these. And watching your fingers around the edge, give it a good cleaning. I'm going to switch hands here. You don't ever want to do this with the edge pointing towards your fingers. You want to make sure all the residue's off, and it is. The next step, it says, is to use some steel wool and brighten up the blade. And do not worry, you are probably going to harm the edge on this. There's no way around it. Be very careful here because, yeah, I don't want to slice my finger up. And take your dry rag. Thanks to the wonders of static electricity, take all the shavings off. Because you're going to get little shavings. This is 4/0 steel wool. It's great for woodworking too, especially if you're working with polishes. So that is done on this side. We're going to flip it over and do it on the other side. I find sometimes keeping the tip down like this is the easiest way to keep it stable. All the steel wool shavings are off. And I'm thinking I should have gotten another rag, but that doesn't matter. Next step, make sure you've shaken this fairly well. So you take a rag. I told you I need an extra rag. And this stuff does get old. So if you can, start with a fresh one. I've dabbed some on the rag. Now watch. You see that? It sometimes takes a couple of applications. You want to get it everywhere. You don't want any bright shiny spots, so don't feel bad if you got to go in there again. And get some of the little spots right by the guard. There. Now, look at that. That's one coating of bluing. Let's do the other side quickly. You're only supposed to keep this on for about 30 seconds to a minute. It doesn't really hurt it badly if it does otherwise. Watch that. I'm always amazed by this process, but it doesn't take a lot to amaze me, I will admit that. I like to give it a few more shots here like so. There you have a blued blade. Looks pretty darned impressive. So now what I like to do is go over it again just to hit up all the spots. Don't forget to get the back edge too. As it dries, and it dries very quick, I like to get a bit more on just to even out the coat. Alright, now next step is you don't let it dry. We've been well more than a minute here. What you want to do is you want to go rinse this now. So that is about what I'm going to do. Okay, so there it is. Is that looking good or what? So we'll pause for a minute, rinse this off, and I'll be right back. Okay, while I was away for a second, I decided I'd grab some Q-tips for my my regular, well, my gearbox there. So this is dried. What I wanted to do, as you can see, it's almost there. So I'm going to give it a second coat. Hopefully it'll even right out. If not, I think it looks kind of cool anyways. Now that has got a very interesting color palette to it now. That looks, I don't know if you can see it, we'll get it close. That's looking good. Okay, it's not as perfect as the Mora Bushcraft Black, but you know what? I actually like that. Okay, now the other side needs some work. So here we go. And what this is doing is it's actually very much like the other treatments do. It's putting a coat of black iron oxide. The nice thing is with a Q-tip you can actually get a little bit more here. You can actually even it out a lot better. So yeah, that's now part of the list of ingredients. Go use some Q-tips. This I like more because, hey, it's not perfect. It reminds you that this is not a perfect world. Now, it's especially going out to the trolls and haters and stuff. I had to. That one's for Chad Collins over at Sufficient Survival, who seems to be having a bad week with trolls. Alright, so there's our blade. Looks pretty darn good. I'm going to go rinse this off, dry it off, and I'll show you the final step. Okay, So we've actually coated it twice, and you can have a good look. This is a pretty decent bluing job. So the trick is, after it's rinsed and dried, you hit it again with the steel wool and just slightly even it out. And you see it evens out pretty well. I like that so much, I am going to give it another coat. Can still use that end. And now you can see just how quick this stuff works. You can repeat this a number of times. Nice thing about a couple coats is once that's rinsed, the steel wool is just going to even it out so much better. Now that's getting pretty dark. But really, this only takes a few minutes of time to do. Look at the difference there. I'll finish this off quick so it doesn't go uneven on me. Do all kinds of variations of this, but yeah, this works. One other thing I'll point out is the blade is still very sharp. So here we go. It's dark, so I'm having trouble, but that actually reflects the color of how this is going to look. And I think that's cool. This is always a great thing if you're actually making your own blades too, which may be another video. Okay, so we'll pause for a second, dry this off, we'll do the final step. Alright, so the second coat is on there. You can see this. Last step is to very gently even it out with the steel wool. Now you may not get close to the grip there, but one can but try. So that actually looks a lot nicer. We're actually going to do the final step, and then we will look at these tomorrow, see how they turned out. Okay, so you want to pay close attention to this, but do not rub too hard, just be very gentle with it, and you'll actually see the colors even right out. You guys can tell I'm enjoying this because my voice, I'm hearing it take on almost a tone of reverence about this. Well, as you can see, we've got just about everything but that little bit there. So, good enough for me. Now I'm going to get a bigger cloth. This is the step that gets messy. And I haven't coated my top yet. So you take your gun oil. And then you give it a spray. And you get the other side. Don't have to completely saturate it, but you want to get a fair bit on there. And then you take your rag and you just start rubbing it. What will happen is you'll notice when you're wiping off the when you're wiping off the water after you rinse it, you'll notice that the actual oxide coating is very grabby, is the best word I know. So this seals it. Gun oil, I have found, is the best thing for this. Then you want to let it dry and cure at least overnight. But the beauty of this step is you're about to see exactly what you can expect when you check it the next morning. It's going to be like Christmas. Right. There we go. Is that not nifty? That is a good looking blade. All right, so let's have a look at the results. I'll get up a little closer here. This is after letting it cure for over 24 hours. But here is the first one. You can see that's pretty good. Very few streaks. And here's my one companion HD. As you can see, the edge is still very, very, very sharp. And there's the second one. Now this one I might retreat a bit. As you can see, there's a bit of a streak on it. But they do turn out pretty darn good. Now I know there are a couple other bushcraft channels that specialize on knives that do this, but I've actually never seen them do it. Maybe I haven't gotten into enough of their videos yet. I figured I would show you guys how to inexpensively treat any kind of carbon steel knife blade for the bush. This actually will, well, I mean, cutting vegetables and so on, especially onions. I remember my first carbon steel knife, I got a bunch of black spots on it. This takes care of that problem. But again, not a dangerous or difficult procedure by any means, just a little bit of elbow grease, and they turn out beautiful. So, thanks for watching another Alberta Bushcrafter video. My name's Dean. Take care, and good day.